Zoom recording started, so don't say anything too outlandish.
Okay, cool. I think what I want to do,
Recording is going.
oh, it is going, awesome.
Anything you want to step up or anything we can help you do before you start?
Yeah, appreciate you. Going to, bring this over here. Do this. I think this table is really granite.
Right.
Here, just this meeting table. Cheers.
You. Need anything from us?
I believe so. I think we're good. Put that there for a table in case they have a water. No, I think that's, we're good. Hey, hey,
Yep.
there she is.
I'm not buying it, but by chance like that there. Really comfortable. Yeah. Thank you, thank you. That's friends. Yeah. Great coffee. Oh, me too. Thank you for doing this. Sounds great. I sure can. How late does this go? Probably an hour. Okay, as I say, I'm still going around the clock, so I just didn't wanna
Gotcha.
not interrupt anything. If you have lunch. Very nice. Yeah. Oh, that. No, didn't you want this one back there too? So. What's happening on your board? You're in market, awesome. Oh, everything's sitting and people have questions like I've never had. I feel, yeah, and what about you? Yeah, it's like, it's intense. Yeah, it's good work, intense. Oh, man, yeah. Karen, what's the question? Mine. Or do you get people coming to sit with you?
No, go right ahead.
I'm Tracy.
I'm Desiree.
Desiree, I think we met.
Oh,
Maybe
okay.
one time,
Probably.
I don't know, but,
There's
yeah,
so many people.
there are so many people, but yeah.
And faces and names. And-
Yes. So. It's good. Very good. Meet you.
So I'm good.
Were you at the AI class yesterday?
Yes.
Was my mind's still blown.
I
Is-
went
are you-
home, so while I was over here trying to like figure stuff out,
Yeah.
like. 2 weeks ago, ironically, 2 weeks ago, I was trying to figure out how to link. Like, comment buy or
Mhm.
whatever to get my seller's guide or
Oh,
to get
yeah,
my buyer's
yeah.
guide or whatever. And I was like, can we figure it out? I'm like, I can't figure this out. It's not an ad. I need to figure it out. Wasn't sure how to do it. And then I'm like, you get frustrated and
Yeah.
walk away. And
Yeah,
that's right where I was. And I'm like, you know what?
It's-
I need to like take a break. And so I took, I took like, obviously 2 weeks. And she's talking about, I was like, oh my God, this is what I wanted like 2 weeks ago. This is what I needed. But all that stuff, I went home and my husband, he does research. And I said,
Oh.
I have something that you can use.
Yeah.
And as long as he cites, condensed, whatever it is from an AI or like summarization taken. He can use it in like his papers and stuff.
Ah.
So it's like, you need to download.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, I was like, but I'm.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, all the stuff.
That's
what with Maya.
I know.
Listen to the volume too. Downstairs because it'll put it into an audio book.
I just.
unimportant.
Oh.
Yeah.
That blew my mind. I really like her. Her,
They're looking at me like.
partner went through
I can't stop
the
thinking.
classes.
Yeah,
Some of the
yeah,
classes.
the people
The
down
20
in
hours that you do right after you get licensed, I think that was. Then that, oh, yeah, and I was like, oh my
So
gosh.
were
she's
you
so
in-
genius. Like, you know, like how just someone stands out, you're like, I was like, oh. And she said, why didn't you?
Yeah. I thought that.
Oh,
And
see,
then,
that
like,
makes me
like,
think
yeah,
some sort of
yeah,
reading.
And I was like, okay, that makes more sense, because she just knew, like, yeah. So I was like, I've just kind of watched her scenario and then Lauren came in like her. And so I was like, oh, yeah, I really think they do. a really good job.
Yeah.
Really neat.
Yeah, I was like.
It's like Instagram, I always thought it's like.
Yeah. So,
I was like.
Yeah, yeah, that cut trainer guy. Yeah. Yeah.
How are you?
How are you ladies?
Good. We were just talking about this. Yeah.
My mind is like, oh, I am not super cool. Savvy, so it's like.
I know.
That's what I'm saying. I did that with that one, where you hold like
Oh, yeah.
and then like your bag. And I was like, I'm trying to figure it out, but I'm like, I don't think I'm doing it right. I don't wanna jump into it and have it wrong either, and have it be like.
I know.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I
Denise, what'd you think of yesterday? I saw you, were you online?
I was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you say that's it?
Oh, I didn't, but I wondered, yeah, did you? I know, I think I did too. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know, at least I can just see.
It's just, yeah,
Continue, why? It's a lot.
it's a lot. It's like, oh my gosh, my brain is still, like, I woke up thinking about it, like, oh, there's a lot.
They did, I got a change on theirs, and that's my bottle last night, but. So I went. Yeah, I was like over here.
But split a box.
Yeah. I do know. Yesterday, yeah.
Sorry, I should have asked if you were talking.
But it's not $5 seconds. Thank you for second.
Like, I mean,
Where do you want me?
And wherever you wanna go.
Right.
I'm sitting here.
Okay. So because.
I gotta give you a table so you have something.
Graduation.
I just texted you, I was like, so you're not worried, I'm here.
Oh, yeah.
Girls together, frozen together.
Oh, this probably works.
Having a party of my.
So Raj, I like,
Oh,
it was
Oh, yeah. Yeah, great, but it went well.
Whatever.
How are you? Player sign-in sheet. I'll let you know.
Okay,
Missing.
yeah, this is missing. All right, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Hey, welcome to the open house panel. Aw, so glad you all made it. If you don't know who I am, I'm Carol Shear. I have had my real estate license since August of 2004. And prior to that, I did mortgages for over 14 years. So I've been in this business a long time. And I love it, absolutely love it. At any rate, I would like to introduce, I'm just gonna step over now to Kelly Snyder. Kelly, please introduce yourself.
Kelly Snyder. I've been an agent here for a little over 7 years. Open houses are my jam.
Yeah.
And you'll learn why. And I love real estate too. I wish I had done it decades back, but I watched my father and mom separate as a result of real estate. And I said, I'll never do that.
And here we are.
Changed my mind. Yeah, so I'm happy to be here and share things that have made my success rate pretty high on open houses.
That's, yeah, right on. There you go. Josh Seaman, you're up.
Hello, I'm Josh Seaman. I've been in production. This is my 3rd year. And I have tried many different, yes, forms of open houses, but I think I found my groove with them. Yeah, I get a good amount of business from open houses, so I'm excited to share what I learned for you guys.
And then we have Sarah Miller. Sarah Miller, I've been a realtor for 12 years now. I came from a world of finance. My background as well for a long time before real estate. Open houses was always my jam. It was way better than cold calling. So it's just the face-to-face interaction and knowing how to navigate it that makes it passionate for me. But I've got a lot of success and had a lot of clients from it. So. Yay. And we have our moderator. This is Missy. Missy, how long have you had your real estate license?
I got my real estate license in 91, so I've seen a lot of different lives. And I got almost 99% of my clients through open houses.
Wow.
There was no other way to do it.
Wow.
Didn't have any skill set, yeah.
Awesome. Okay. I would also like to introduce our sponsor. And if we could just give her just a few minutes just to share with you some of her experiences and so forth. She's brought us lunch today too, which is wonderful. Thank you so much. Deb White, can you still come up here and share with us about you? I had a client that closed with her company, was very impressed with them, and I still am. And they have a product, a unique product that I think would benefit all of us. So I asked her to sponsor today. Okay, so this is Deb White with K Hovnanian Homes.
So I hope you like your lunch. And thank you to the two ladies that helped me carry that in. I appreciate you. I want to tell you a little bit about K Hovnanian's Four Seasons at Addison Farms in Delaware. It is a 55+ community. What makes it so unique is we have beautiful floor plans. Most of our homes are ranches. We do have a 2-story. We go anywhere from 1,600 square feet to 2,700 square feet. We also, it's a luxury lifestyle. So we have the community center has the pool, pickleball courts, shuffleboard, fire pit, walking trails, dog park, a lot of fun amenities. We started in January. We have sold 14 homes so far, but the reason for that is people didn't even know about us. We weren't advertising too heavily at the time because we didn't look like very much. We finally just got homes finished and sod in. Carol can attest to we're getting sod for your gal this week. So it's a beautiful community. What I'd love to do is I would love if you would either give me your card if you're interested. I would love to give you a tour of our community. I'd walk you through. We have about 10 quick move-in homes. Most of them are ready now. We can close in 30 days. If you use our preferred lender, it's a quick close, 30 days with conventional, 45 with FHA. I just sold one last week that will close the 7th of July. It's a cash deal, so we can move things along quickly. For your clients that, you know, they need a home now, they can't wait. If they can wait, we're looking at about an 8-month build time right now. So we do both. We have quick move-ins and build from the ground. Lots of choices as far as design selections. I really would love to show you the community. We have 3 beautifully decorated model homes. And if you would ever like to have an open house there, you're more than welcome to. You'll have, if you come on a Saturday or Sunday to have an open house, we would give you a fully decorated model. And you can also show all the quick move-ins. But you also have 3 of us that can answer any questions for you and help you. The commission would be fully yours. It's 4% commission on the base price. So
Wow.
if you
Give her your
negotiate.
card.
You just fun with that one.
Give her your card.
And really, all we expect from you is to bring them to us. You don't have to do anything after that if you don't choose to. We love realtors. We love the fact that we know we're just trying to get the word out that we're there. So, and also negotiating prices, anything like that. We're doing that right now, especially because we're trying to get the word out. So that does not affect your commission at all.
What's the price range from?
So if you're building from the ground up, your base price is $426 to $511. But that does not include your lot or your options. Now, I have sold homes finished with the lot or to be built with the lot and the options for as low as $440. We have a QMI right now that we're building that is about $600. So it varies quite a bit. You can go anywhere from a 2-bedroom, 2-car garage would be the basic to a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 3-car garage. Totally up to your buyer. Price point finished on the QMIs. Like I said, we have heavily discounted our QMIs because we want people to come and see us.
What's
So-
the QMI mean?
I'm sorry, quick move in.
Okay, thank you
Yes,
so much.
yes.
And they don't have basements, right?
Not this year. Our basements won't be until the second year.
What's the name of the community?
It's Four Seasons at Addison Farms. It's our 55+ community in Delaware. And it's by Cave Hovnanian Homes. I'm not, how many of you even have heard that name before? Okay. Oh,
Didn't know how to say it.
trust me. When I first talked to people from that company, their home office is in Jersey. I've heard every pronunciation of that name. So I listened to the owner. By the way, it was started in 1949. I'll do this very quickly. 1949. It's a family-owned business. The original person that this company is named after, when he passed on, his son ran the business, who is now retirement age. And his son is also helping run the business. It is publicly traded, but it's family owned as well, so it has the best of both worlds.
How do you do that?
They kept they're really passionate about what they do. If you come and see our homes, you'll see all of our homes have standard items that are not typically standard. 8-foot doors, 11-foot entry, tray ceilings, all of that is standard. 9-foot ceilings, LVP throughout all the living spaces excluding the bedrooms, but they can, and that would be an option to change that. So a lot of pluses with this company. They are very passionate as a father and son, the control that they do have and what they put into the homes. So
Sounds
I would
great.
love for you to come and see. If you could give me your business card, if you're interested, I would love to set up time to give you a tour. Or if you want to sign back there and I'll send you an email.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. And those of you that are familiar with the company, they have been a builder that will build on your lot. Now they've taken themselves and their production builders and actually into building a development. So that's a new thing that they're doing too. I want to add that in there. And the quality is very, very good, very good. So, okay,
But are they still building on the lot?
no,
No.
last year. Okay, all right. Well, without any further ado, let's talk about open houses. Missy, can you run us through this, please?
Okay. I am assuming we have 11 things that we want to
Well,
address.
whatever, we're just gonna kind of wing it, yes, or whatever, but sure, let's go, let's see what we've got, start with whatever you want to ask us.
Okay, well, how does an agent with no listings get started?
How does an agent with no listings get started? Open houses. Open houses, but
How do you get an open house if you don't have a listing?
what I would say is build relationships within the office with other agents that do have listings. Not all listing agents want to hold an open house. They either don't have the time for it, or maybe they don't like doing them. They may not want to do them. So establish relationships with another agent that has a lot of listings that is looking for open houses. That's one way I see it. And what about you guys? What are your thoughts?
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
not,
only way to do it.
yeah, I mean, that's literally the way to do it. So I'm mainly a buyer's agent. So what I've done is I've made all these relationships with people that are more listing focused, and I honestly just ask them, just ask them, hey, I see that this is, on the market. Are you looking for somebody to hold the open house for you? Then after a while, you have to be diligent with how you do your open house as well. So I will throw that disclaimer out there. So make sure that you're running it the way that they expect you to run it. I know Michelle Demopoulos, she has a very specific process in how she wants to run her open houses. So just make sure that you adhere to that. But I mean, Carol, you said it, just build relationships with people in the office.
And for you newer agents, you can only host agents in our office.
open houses. You
Mhm.
can't do it from other brokerages, but you can do new builds as well.
Mhm.
So please know that our Facebook page, the office Facebook page, there are people on there. I post mine, like, hey, looking for 2 agents to host this weekend on my new listing. So those get usually snagged up pretty quickly, but it's a good spot to look at. You can also go in the MLS and just pull up all the current active listings on just our office and reach out to those agents individually and see if they want somebody to host.
What kind of preliminary marketing do you do? To
Go ahead.
get it going? Well, I'm sorry, what was the question? What kind of preliminary marketing do you do for your open house?
I'm gonna take that one.
You can if you want, yeah.
So this all depends on how soon you know about the open house. A lot of times in this market, we will only have like 2 or 3 days notice, especially on the ones where agents are reaching out to somebody to do an open house. And that cuts down on a lot of what I like to do. I like a week ahead of time because I usually do 30 postcards around the subject house. And I like them to get there 2 or 3 days before the open house. And I like to do Friday 5 to 7s. They're like a neighborhood open house. But I think prep is all dependent and there's so many things you can do. You know, it's not just postcards. You can circle call, you can do targeted Facebook posts.
Do you knock on doors?
I do not knock on doors.
It's hard.
I tried
It's
it,
hard
I
these
tried it
days.
8 years ago in Delaware and out of like 47 doors, I think 3 people ended up opening the door.
Right.
And then on the day of the open house, which was like 3 days later, not one of them showed up. So to me, I just didn't do well then, but it is a numbers game. I would tell everybody that it is all numbers.
Can I piggyback on the door knocking too? A couple of things. One is if you're holding an open house for a listing agent that is not, you're not on their team, they're another agent. You need to ask that listing agent, how do they feel about you door knocking their the neighborhood where they have their new listing? Because they may have already done a lot of marketing for that area and may be uncomfortable with having you then go and talk in the neighborhood that they just did all the marketing to, and now you're introducing yourself. So I would ask that listing agent that question. And then also too, piggyback on that too, is I had a gentleman, a realtor, was a comedian by profession and also a real estate agent. And he shared with me one time about door knocking with Ring cameras. And what he would do is he would go up and door knock and the people would not answer, or he would just, and this is also during COVID, right? He would go to the Ring camera and just talk to the Ring camera and be entertaining and hope that they would then put it on Facebook, the neighborhood Facebook, and market himself that way, which I thought was brilliant, right? Because the Ring camera is recording you
Yeah.
and they see you anyhow, so why not? Anyhow, that was something that I picked up years ago. So if you're like to be a comedian and talk to Ring cameras and things like that.
Always like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
I'm already camera shy, so.
You and I did that.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
doing.
We did it together. We door knocked together. We had fun. Yes, yes.
Yeah, I think one more thing with that. So I like to have my open houses set by Wednesday of the week. Okay, so I don't have time to send the postcards. That's not a bad idea, but we voicemail drop, we circle call people. I'm not a big door knocker myself, but I have done it in the past in kind of similar scenario where, you know, you spend the time to do it and then nobody shows up. You know, sure, you can pad your stats with contacts, but the whole point is to get them to the house. So even if you're in a time crunch, like I email my database, I'll call people in my database, sign clients, because you can also ask for referrals from these reach outs as well. So kind of looking at it from 2 different angles. Yes, you want people to come, but also you can potentially drum up some business that way.
And if you guys decide to do a neighborhood open house, because I've done that as well, you could do it like an hour or 2 before your actual open house or on a different day, like it sounds like Kelly does. But if you send out postcards or tape stuff on their doors or stuff, just inviting the neighborhood to come to just a specific open house for them, you would have a different type of sign-in sheet, like asking if they want a current market analysis. How long do they plan on living in their current home? Do they know anybody that they would love to make their neighbor to potentially move into the home? So you would have a whole different list of questions, but that's getting your face in front of the neighborhood as well.
And if you do something like that and it is your listing, I would highly recommend sending out sold postcards after that, because then it just shows them what kind of realtor you are and what you've done for that client. So,
And kind of to tag on to hers with those neighborhood open houses, check other listings that are active in that neighborhood. And sometimes it could be a double-edged sword, but call that agent and see if they'll sponsor one at the same time, because the more you get out there, the more likely you're gonna have them both come to both open, or all of them come to both open houses. Just a good idea to check what's out there.
Another thing I do, Kelly, is, I use my contacts, like my, title company, lenders, they'll also go on social media for me and put it out there.
and your title company should be able to do the marketing stuff for you if you have enough time for those postcards and stuff for pretty inexpensive. Or if you want them to mail them out to the neighborhood, they can do that too, usually.
So typically we see open houses on Sundays, but more and more we're seeing open houses, lots of different times, Saturdays, after business hours. What do you think of those new times, and are they effective for you if you're doing it?
Absolutely, absolutely, they're effective. Saturdays, I'm a big Saturday and Sunday, both weekend days. Because some people can't do it on Sunday. They either for various reasons, they're with family, or they're at a religious, they're religious and they're focused on that, or whatever it might be. So,
Not during Buckeye games.
yeah, hey, right, that's right. It's seriously, Ohio State football, don't even bother.
No.
It doesn't, nobody shows up. But otherwise, absolutely. And I want to add to this too. What I have found that really is so successful on driving traffic in, buyers, people that want to buy this, and then also too, possible sellers. Because keep in mind, when you're doing an open house, you have people that might be interviewing you and seeing how you handle it to get their listing down the road, okay? But what I have found to do, and this is so good, when I have a new listing, or I'm gonna do a price adjustment, or the back on market. You know how an automatic email gets blasted out every time you have that happen, right? To the realtors that have their buyers set up for those searches. Also too, on Zillow and Realtor.com, those blasts go out then too. So what I do is, my experience has been, is the public will typically first look at photos. And then they like the photos, and then the next thing they do is they read about it in the property description. So what I will do is, before I hit the button to go active, price adjustment, back on market, whatever it is, before I do that, down in the property description of the property, I put in capital letters, new on market, exclamation point. Open houses with the date and the time, exclamation point, all caps. Okay, first words right out, the
I
first
do
thing
that
they
too.
read. And it is so effective because that's what happened, that drives the people in. Now, of course, you want to go into the MLS and add the open house, change your listing and then add the open house also, because then it populates into all the other sites, Zillow, Realtor.com, sends the email to the client. So if someone searches open houses near me, it'll show up as long as you go in and change the listing and add the open house. So that to me has been the most successful way to drive the traffic in the door. Those are the best times as far as
Just make sure you remove that description after the open houses
Correct.
are done if you're still on the market.
Yeah.
But I do that as well. I always have open houses in all capital letters first thing in the property description, because the public is gonna see that first.
Right.
And that brings hopefully non-agent represented
So
people.
when you're driving or even buyers to your listings, there's a lot of different things you can do besides advertising. And so specifically signage is often tricky because different municipalities have different rules about how many signs you can have and where you can have them. But what do you do about driving people in just to get with people who may not have seen it on? I mean, my experience has been sometimes people see it and come in and they haven't seen it on online. What do you do to drive people in, and what do you do with the neighbors who might not like a sign in their yard, a directional sign?
I don't ask.
I don't
Time for that. It's there for like
Deciding where the
3
best
hours.
exposure is, and
I've gotten 2 listings from asking. Just.
I mean,
I've gotten
not to
one
say
site.
asking isn't a bad thing, but I always say my way of doing it is put the sign in and if they don't like it, they'll tell you.
Oh, yeah.
But
Absolutely.
signs are so important. I've had so many people who have been
Yeah,
like,
right.
oh, I just drove by just this week in Worthington. Drove by, saw your sign on South Street and I had no idea there was a house for sale and total conversation. Guy wants to move from Colonial Hills and
Great.
so it's a listing and a buyer.
Wow.
It's a sign
I just
and you put
looked,
signs everywhere.
And how many signs do you put out?
It depends on the,
Look-
it depends on the
Location, like,
property.
if it's country, maybe 3, because you know, it's a long
Long
20-mile
way.
stretch.
Yeah, right.
But if it's anywhere in the city, I mean, a minimum of 5 or 7.
Yeah.
5
You
to
gotta
7.
drive them to
You
you.
do. Busy roads have one on either side of the street because then you can have both sides of traffic see it. I
Flags are
Was-
good.
luckily gifted one of those 12, 13-foot flags by somebody who left Keller Williams because it is KW specific. I will let you guys know, I bought 3 more of those on Amazon and they all broke immediately.
Oh, really?
So be cautious, read reviews when you go to look to purchase those.
I think the flags are.
But they are massively beneficial, especially if you have a home off of like Sawmill and there's 13-foot open house banner. People are gonna see that. For anybody who ever hosts my open houses, I go on Google Maps on my phone, screenshot, and I place dots. Red dot, this is where I recommend you guys put open house signs.
That's great.
I just think that that'll help drive the most traffic. So be cognizant of what that looks like, know the rules of the subdivision or condo complexes, or ask for forgiveness later.
Yeah,
So you go in there and you got them in there. What do you say to them? What do you do with them once they come in? Across?
Welcome.
Just so glad you're here.
disclaimer. Here's our disclaimer.
Okay, so I love this part. Okay, so when I get somebody who walks in the front door, I do multiple things. Okay, first I greet them. I'm like, hi, welcome. I stand back, I give them space. I'm not on top,
Be in their face.
right? You don't want to be sitting on the couch. Hey. Right?
What you doing here?
Right. And I've walked into open houses with other realtors and that's what they've done.
Yes.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
They're still, that's a table.
Look at their phone or whatever. No, okay, so you immediately are focused on them. So I welcome them. I'm like, hi, welcome. And I'm very genuine. I try and tame my personality down, okay? And then I just say, I'm Carol. And then I'm like,
Oh,
and what is your name? Okay, they're in my house. I consider this my house. I don't care if I have the cellar, I don't have the cellar. They walked into my space. I want their name, okay? The seller wants me to get their name anyhow. So I get their names. I embed it in my brain. I'm like, well, great. I'm so glad you came. You know what? I'm always interested in what marketing worked to get you to come into the open house. How did you find me today? I'm qualifying them, guys. I am qualifying them because what they're going to tell me is I came from the signs. Oh, great. I'm so glad that worked. You know, so they don't know price. They haven't seen the pictures unless they pulled it up on their phone before they walked in the door. They don't know anything. Okay. I don't know if they're qualified or not. Right? How serious are these people? What are they doing? Are they neighbors? Who are they? Okay. So anyhow, so I can get that information. Or they'll say, well, online. I got it online. I'm like, oh, good. Which website was it? Zillow or Realtor.com or Redfin or whatever it may. I'm like, oh, great. I'm so glad that worked. Okay. So how long have you been looking? I'll get to that point. I know you want me to get to that point. How long have you been looking? Now I want to see, I'm qualifying them again. Are they just getting started? Or have they been looking for 5 months, 2 years, whatever it may be? If they've been looking for 5 months, 2 years, I'm like, oh, okay, okay. It's well, it's frustrating. It's very frustrating to them. They might be frustrated.
Got the wrong
Is
realtor.
It could be all kinds of things, right? There's so much, right? But they've been in the market, so they know the market, okay? Because they've been looking for a while. So now I know this, right? Okay, and then I'm like, so, and I'll like, sorry, do you have an agent? Are you working with somebody helping you?
I like that.
Is somebody helping you, right? The word help is huge, right? So anyhow, and they'll say, yeah, I'm working with so-and-so. I'm like, oh, great. Do me a favor, when you register in the kitchen, make sure you write down your name and your realtor's name for me, okay? Oh, okay, I just broke down the wall because now they're willing to talk to me because I'm asking for their real estate agent's name. Now, why am I asking for the real estate agent's name?
You don't believe.
No, I do believe. That's sometimes the truth. They might say, what's your name, honey? What's her name? And I look at them and I'm like, believe me, you would know Carol Shear's name. But I'm there because the seller's allowing me to hold their home open. And the reason they're allowing me to do the open house is because they're counting on me to sell it for them. So I want to follow up with that buyer's realtor to see if they're interested in buying the home. Whenever you do an open house, please keep in mind, the seller is allowing you to be there so that you sell their property. That's why you're there. Sure, picking up clients. I mean, we're there for that too, right? But you're also there to sell it, okay? Or they may just, okay, so the other way they say is my realtor sent me, okay? Because they got that automatic email and it worked, right, what we did. So again, I say, ask them to sign in, put their agent's name down next to their name. Just like it says natural, right? I don't need your contact information. Give me your agent's name. Okay, and then help them sell it. Help the listing agent sell it. I will tell you as a listing agent, if you hold one of my open houses open, I want to get that information. I really need it so that I can follow up. And nobody does this, and I'm sorry for the rest of you that don't do this. Nobody does this, but I will. Because I learned early on, I will pay you a fee, a referral fee, either $500 or $1,000 at closing. If you send me the information of that buyer and their agent's name, if you send me that information, I follow up and they end up going into contract and you help me get that done. It's a referral fee, $500 or $1,000, depends on the price. Okay, so I'm motivating you to help sell it.
Okay, so once we have.
Wait, hang on one second.
Do you have an open house this week and you?
Right now.
I've been selling it, but I'll keep you in mind.
Every Sunday.
Yes.
One thing that I've done that's been really beneficial is I created a sign that I taped to the front door that I make sure that it's at eye level, but it says the seller requires all parties who enter the property to sign in.
Yeah.
So it just sets that standard before they walk in, knowing that they're gonna have to sign it. Obviously, if they've been shopping, they know they have to do that, but
What do you do if they don't?
I'm not gonna force them.
Yeah, kick them out.
But I'm not gonna force them, but I think that it kind of helps. Visually, they'll see that as they walk in, because they're about to walk into a home and they're gonna read it. But then obviously their walls aren't up as high when I ask for them to sign in.
I do the same thing and mine is bright red. It's unequivocal what you have to do. when you walk
Yeah.
in.
Right.
And
And I'll
this,
stare them down until they do.
and this sits in front of my registration book on a
Right.
10 card.
Oh.
So we're all doing the same things, right? Seller request, not me, even though it's me.
Yeah, I don't have a visual like that, but that is in my script when they walk in, because I usually hang out in the kitchen. And then Carol, kind of similar. I think we probably all have similar scripts for when they come in. Mine is, where are you coming from? Because now I know, do they live in the city? Do they live outside of the city? Why are they here? Right? So it's kind of that qualifying piece. And then also I just asked them, like, how did you find me today? What's your timeline for getting into a new home? And then after that little qualification piece, I just tell them straight up, the seller requires everyone to sign in. So sign-in sheets right here, go ahead and put your information down. If you're working with an agent, go ahead and put their information down as well. Sometimes I'll be a little funny with them if they say, like, I found this on Zillow. I'll say, oh, your realtor didn't send this to you. And then I know from there, yes, they have a realtor, or no, they don't, without being abrasive of, who are you working with, right? So kind of play around with that and figure out what works for you, but that works for me and it's not as like abrasive.
And I know most of you know this, but make sure you fill out the top line of your registration sheet with a full information ahead of time. Because it's suggestive as to how the next person will fill it out. Cause a lot of times people just put their name
yeah.
and they're like.
You've got-
really
you've got
a
scratchy
fake person.
email or something, and you're like, that's not real, so fill out a complete name. I make it up, it's like a friend of mine in Florida. And they're buying and selling, and they don't have a real.
They want $1 million house.
So what Kelly is saying here is his registration sheet's a piece of paper with the information, you fill it on that document, right?
Correct.
Awesome. Mine is a little different.
Private.
It's private, right? And it has, these cards, I buy them. You can print them yourselves, okay, or whatever, make them yourselves. But if you want more information on these, but what happens is it asks for their name, their address, their phone number, their email address. How did you find the open house? What is your timeline for purchasing a new home? Are you currently working with a real estate agent for a line to put their name? Okay, and then would you like a free up-to-date market analysis on your home? Huh, yes, oh, good. Okay, I'm on it, right? And then I put my notes on the front of it because about that person after they leave, so I remember who they are.
Yeah, you do, yes.
Because I don't want to put it on the back, because I don't want to put, because I don't want the next person who's gonna fill in the book to see that I just wrote notes about that person, okay? So mine's a little different, just a little different, and that's the beauty of us, because we're all different. And we do it a little different, but I wanted to share that with you, okay?
Guys, I will say, I used to have a sheet like you have. And then I actually switched to Carol's registration form, and I feel like I've gotten a lot more information out of people, so my follow-up is way more dialed in than just like trying to remember everything that they said. So ask Carol for her sign-up sheets. I'm plugging Carol.
Can you make that available?
You could.
Yeah.
Buy a private book.
MLS.
Here, take
One
this
of the
and
words, so.
pass this around, and then just take a picture with your phone, okay? And then,
Well-
here, I'll start over here.
Where did you get
Um, I bought
They can just have
from the company Britain Products or whatever. They're not that
Carol.
expensive, and I bought a
Oh,
whole bunch.
just-
They can just have copies of
Yeah, on the store.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here.
To know. I created my own. I did my own, just took that information, created my own, put it in a book.
Yeah.
Bought those binders at Staples. And then it's just a stock, hard stock, and you print 2 pages on one piece and you cut it in half and that's the whole.
I think the advantage of these are follow-up is much easier with that
Mhm.
on paper as opposed to
Mhm.
lines.
And I
think you're right.
I always have a clipboard with like, so that way I can make tally marks on how many parties come through, and then I'll write, because I forget names, like you'll say your name and I'll forget it half of a second later. So I try to make notes, like if they introduce their kids and all that stuff, so I'll make notes on my sheet and then fill it out on their card once they're done.
One thing that Lori wants to make sure that you guys remember to do, okay? This is Lori, our broker, Lori Molnar, our broker, is that identify your agency relationship with the seller, okay? So I will say, look, I'm the listing agent. I represent the seller, okay? If you're interested in buying, I have Hillary here, because I may do it with a dual agent, and she's here to work with buyers or whatever. Or if you're the buyer's agent, you're not representing the seller, to say, look, I'm here, I'm not the listing agent, I don't, if you have any questions, I'm happy to get the answers to them, but I am not the listing agent, but I am here and I can help you purchase this home as a buyer's agent. Okay, so make sure you disclose how you're representing that at that home at the time. It's very important. Yeah.
I think that it's important, once you've got people in, that we have to address this. What do you do for security? What do you, I think it's an important thing. In my own experience, I can cite 4 or 5 times when I have been, they put their hands on me.
Ooh,
So.
wow.
You say 4 or 5 times.
They put their hands on her.
Where is your?
Well, you know what you do and how you handle yourself, and what preliminary things you do to make yourself safe.
I am a weapon.
Carolyn's jumping into a white van.
I will let you know, some of your lenders will be more than happy to host the open house with you if you want a second party there.
Yeah.
I have dragged my poor ex-husband to open houses to pretend like he was a look-see-loo person. But just to have somebody there for me, if it was a specific neighborhood that I didn't feel comfortable with, I would have a second person there. You could probably get a second agent to co-host with you in that situation as well.
I think you have to know your area that you're hosting in as well.
Mhm.
You know, if you're doing it midday. You know, and you have to have a plan also, like I think somebody uses the red folder plan where you get on the phone and
Yeah.
you need the red folder, like you're just. Mocking a call, but you're also telling somebody you're in stress. So you gotta have a
Wait.
plan ahead of time.
Explain what the red folder
Yeah.
is, because they don't know, and weekends, we don't have
Never heard
anybody
that.
at the front desk.
I'm not good
So-
with explaining that. So pass that to somebody else.
No,
The-
it's so,
The red folder, you can, no, you got it. So you can call the office.
if they're open.
Yeah, well, okay, good point. Or you can just call Nicole.
Leadership. You
Right.
Ship, your
Let's
team
give you
lead.
my number, if you don't, you can have it, you've got Brian's number, Lori's number, Joanne's number, it doesn't matter who on leadership you call. Just call. I've actually had to talk an agent through a red folder situation, so you just need to have it and make sure that you're good.
Make sure you get your open house listed by Thursday or Friday to the front desk, because also knowing that you're hosting that open house somewhere is gonna be, it could be important in the end.
Mhm.
You know, because everyone's either, they know the address, they know the time, they know you're there.
Yeah.
So.
So the red folder is pretty much code for leadership to say, hey, I'm in trouble. What do you ask them like where they're at? Like, I've never had to use.
Comfortable, or if there's a situation that's happening and you don't want to alert the people that you are with, or you just don't want to bring light to the fact that, oh gosh, I know what something's happening. You call somebody on leadership and you just say, hey, I'm at 1234 Main Street. I totally forgot to pull the red folder for this. Can you do that? And then we're gonna ask you some yes or no questions.
Do you need the police to come?
Do you need the police to come? Yes. Do we need to call 911? Yes. Yes or no? We're gonna ask you a series of questions and then we will do what we need to do on our end, either call 911, or whatever we need to do. So it's just a way for you guys to have somebody to call. And if nobody picks up the phone, text 911 red folder and somebody will get back to you.
I mean,
Don't hesitate to do that.
911.
Well, I mean, if it's, you don't wanna take the time to call us first, you know, call 911.
Yeah,
But yeah, you do need to think about safety. You absolutely do, and that's one of the first things we teach agents. Take a buddy with you, somebody in your family or team or buddy agent or whoever needs to know where you are. And you should be doing this if you're out showing all day long with people you don't know very well also. People need to know where you are. When I would go out and show, my husband knew exactly where I was and, he had the kind of the itinerary. Just make that a best practice so that you are thinking about that also. I mean, it takes, if you're uncomfortable,
Mace?
take a buddy. Mace.
Well, I was just gonna say that if you're in an iffy neighborhood, the house, then bring someone with you, whether it's another agent or your husband or your partner, just have another body there. Also, how do you figure out if you've got another agent working with you at the house? As far as the agreement of if they meet with somebody at the open house, it's, how do you do that as far as commission?
I think that's on an individual basis.
Yeah, because you know who you talk to and you would
Yeah.
essentially get that. I mean, I co-hosted with Joe Jackson where he was solely looking for sellers and I was working for buyers.
Yeah, so that worked.
I mean, even people like if you're on a team as well and you co-host with somebody on your team, we're pretty fair. Whoever you have a good conversation with, like, that's
Is
yours,
yours.
like you earned it.
Right.
So take
Good.
it and run with it. So,
Sounds great.
yeah, I think
Great
it is
to do it.
individual.
I just had a safety tip. It's something that I do because, I don't know, I have chicken house, my whole life looks different, so I'm very aware of that. It's just locking the door. So if I show up to an open house and I walk in the front door, when I'm turning on the lights and I'm getting ready and prepared for that, I keep the front door locked. Because the next thing, I don't want to be caught upstairs in a back bedroom and someone meandered.
Right,
That's-
very good.
Showing.
I do that at showing.
And then there's always like that last minute straggler. I lock the door when I'm turning the lights off, because nobody's gonna walk in the house and I'm unprepared or trying to catch.
That's a really good tip.
So
that was.
I don't even think.
I
about
open
that.
it up and I shut it down and the
Yeah.
doors are locked, even if I'm inside cleaning up or getting things set up or turning lights off or turning them on.
Lisa,
The other tip is not to park in the driveway and make sure your car
Correct.
is facing outward. Or
Oh.
if you're on like a rural property, like on Rutherford, make sure your car is turned out. So
So you can
there's
leave.
always plenty of extra parking on those type of houses. What I do is I pull in, turn around and make sure that I have an access, even if I have to drive down the grass to get out.
Yeah, don't let yourself get parked in. And then I'm gonna interject one more time and then I need to step out. When you're advertising all over social media and everywhere with your cute little faces on it, with the times and the address of where you're going to be, don't say,
Come see
I'm
me.
going to see I or me, make
Come
it a
see
we.
us.
Make it a we or my team or something so that people think
Yeah.
that you are not going to be alone. I think that's a really big one. Don't use I or me, say we. So that you're not, oh, look at that.
okay.
Look at that cutie. She's gonna be by herself for 2 hours. Can't wait to go there, right? So, anyway, I'm gonna exit, so I don't.
So the next thing along the same, and then we'll go away from this, but it is regarding security. And that is, when you are in an open house for your client, or when you're in an open house, you are the steward of their property. And you have to really be aware that if you have a big crowd, you may have a security issue. What do you do? What do you all do to be vigilant?
You ask if you could see the baby in the baby carrier that's covered with a blanket. To make
Oh,
sure there's no items inside the baby carrier going outside the door. I've done that. Can I see your baby? Just to make sure that there's nothing in there, you know? And that was, I know.
An open house where the woman got there early. And she, I know, she got out of there with a TV. What?
Let's see.
She got.
Wow. I mean, you also need to prepare your sellers, and obviously if you're hosting somebody else's open house, it's not the same, but my stager and I do a back-to-back thing where we recommend get a laundry basket, put all your laptops, iPads, prescription medications, jewelry, anything that you think could be snatched, lock it up or take it with you, and it's just easy to take that laundry basket with you or tote or whatever. But I go early, I do a sweep of the home, see if there are things out of place. I found a headless naked baby doll on the kitchen countertop that I had to put somewhere to hide it. But it's random stuff like that. I do a sweep. If I see that there's some maybe expensive jewelry, I'll take a picture of how it's placed and I'll tuck it away, take a picture of that so I remind myself in case I forget. And they're like, what happened to all my jewelry? But that way I kind of remember to go back. So just do your due diligence of hiding. Obviously you can't hide TVs, but that's one thing that both my stager and I do for all of our sellers, so.
Okay, I've got 2 more things and then I promise.